Dawson Rider Review. Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Drive Type Speed, the first figure art in the Drive line of figure arts. Sorry it took me a little while to get this review out. I actually had a hard time getting my hands on one for one reason or another. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to check this out because if you pay attention to my reviews and my opinions, or even just the figures themselves, historically, the Rider figure arts for the current running series tend to be very hit or miss, riddled with proportion and loose joint and quality problems. But last year that all changed with Gaim. Gaim brought us some really well done figure arts, and some of the best ones in a while, in my opinion. So I was excited and curious to see if Drive was able to keep that up in terms of quality. And I think for the most part they did. Okay, now you can leave. Review over. No, I'm just kidding. But let's go ahead and get started with the big elephant in the room, which is actually a tiny box. I mean, how are you not talking about this? Look how small this figure art box is. It's very different. I was very surprised to see that they did this. You know, if you're familiar with figure arts at all, you know the typical size of a figure arts box. It's a little bit wider than this. They do have those new, like, premium Rider figure arts that are maybe a smidge wider than this, and they're like in these neat little fancy cases that open up. This kind of reminds me of this in a way, just because of how small it is, but pretty unique step they took. I actually kind of like it. It's very sleek, very neat looking. You got pretty much all black, and then you have this nice little red shaded picture of Drive here, and it just looks very, I don't know, modern and fancy. Then you got a nice shot of Drive here on the side as well. I'm not sure what their motivation, I don't know if it has anything to do with how they officially is a word, guys, officially romanize or brand everything, why they have type and then speed, and then like this isn't capitalized but this is like all capitalized. Like, it just bothers me. That's like some really ugly looking typographic choices there. Anyway, on the back here, just kind of shows you what you can do with him. Look, you can pose him like looking like he's putting gloves on. It's like, bro, the gloves come with the suit. And there's some various poses, and then Trideron not included. Maybe that says Trideron not included, I don't know. They are doing a figure arts Trideron, but it doesn't come with this, but it just shows you, look, he can stand next to a Trideron. Isn't that impressive? Anyway, very neat. I don't know, I really dig the little sleek style of box that they have going on. As for what Drive himself comes with on his own, by himself, all his lonesome, completely alone. I don't know why I went on a tangent like that. He actually does not come with very much at all. You have what is on him, which is his Type Speed tire, which you can take off. You have the little shift car holder with 3 shift cars. I think it's Midnight Shadow, Max Flare, and Funky Spike. And then his driver, which is detachable, and then the little Type Speed car, which is right here, which is also detachable. But outside of the stuff that's actually already on the dude, you only get 2 extra hands. You get these sort of posed, fancy-ish hands, and then like these posed holding things hands. They're holding sort of weird things hands. They're both kind of just posed like this, and you can sort of have them hold various things in them, and then other than that, you obviously have the closed fists on them. So you get very, very little for just the figure. But if you have this, I think it's the first wave release, you get a bonus little effect part set here, Volume 1, Max Flare. It comes in this little red box. Nothing too special to write home about. You just got a picture of it there on the front, and then on the back it actually gives you little instructions on what to do with them. But yeah, so if you get that release, it does come with this right here. You have 2 flame effects here, 1 for each hand, and then the Max Flare tire. We'll be taking a look at this momentarily. And then right here is the Max Flare car to put on his wrist, and then there's actually a little attachment for his driver as well. But yeah, so if you get that, you actually have some pretty neat accessories going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to turn this guy and try to zoom in at the proper moments and do a little, I don't know why I said little so many times. I like got stuck in a loop. Good thing. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, Drive. Okay, so if you can't tell just by looking at him, I think he looks pretty damn good. In general, I like Drive's design actually quite a bit. It's definitely have some things to get used to, but I do like his design, and I think this captures it pretty damn well. Look at that, pretty damn well, look at that. No, I'm getting too weird now. But the proportions on him are excellent. The color on his armor has a beautiful shine to it. The compound eyes look gorgeous. They really did a good job here detail-wise with him. So I definitely think they continued that strong suit with Gaim. Gaim's look looked really, really good. They had a really nice armored look to them, and Drives is no exception. I think it captures the way his looks really well. The helmet's nicely proportioned. Some even great shiny silver paint right there. The shine on his armor looks good. The tire has a nice texture to it. Everything about it just looks really, really nice. I think it does a great job of looking like a little statue. Before we zoom out, I just want to get a quick close-up-ish look at the belt there. You can see it actually has the symbol for type speed on it, hence why he's got a swappable little piece for max flare, and then the little cars there on the side. Okay, so that's just my little panned look before we pick him up. Okay, so yeah, very nicely detailed, and because I didn't really show it, there's the little speed shift car, and you can actually take that off. There's a little peg there. I'm actually going to set it aside because we're going to be switching it off anyway for max flare, and also there's a good chance it'll get knocked off. I'll go ahead and say this now since I'm talking about it, but be very careful with these. They can be very sensitive to fall off, like I said. Part of the reason I was taking it off is I could very easily flick it off when showing the articulation, and they're very small. So yeah, just be mindful of that when you're messing with it. I hate losing small little pieces like that. But yeah, okay, articulation-wise, if you're not familiar with Figuarts, they suck at articulation. They have like, what, 1 point of articulation? None. No, I'm just kidding. They're very well articulated if you're not familiar with them. Nice little ball joint here. You got swiveling here. Double elbow joints. Swiveling at the hands. Nice ball joints on the legs. Good all-around motion. Swiveling. Double knee joint. You got a nice little ball joint on his foot as well. The little toe bendy joint. This one's a lot easier to move. There's some of them where it's like, ugh! That was my impression of it making, whatever. I couldn't even finish that joke. Alright, you do have articulation here at the waist and chest. The chest articulation is a smidge hindered by this one large solid piece that is his armor. Then you have head and neck articulation as well. It's obviously a bit hindered by his tire, but that's pretty much to be expected. I am so good at talking, it's like redonkulous. Anyway, it's a very good mold. It's very, I don't know if it's the exact same or a variation on it, but it's pretty much like the style they used for Gaims, in terms of like using these legs and for the newer Figuarts as well. It's a very good mold, obviously well articulated, but just in terms of being a put together mold, proportion-wise, articulation-wise, I don't have any loose joint problems. It doesn't necessarily feel quite as tight as like Orange Arms Gaim or some of the other ones, but I don't feel anything loose. Everything feels good. It feels like a very solid figure, very well put together, just a good mold in general, and like I said, the details on him are very exceptional. So overall, I think they did a good job. This might be a personal thing. I've had these in a couple cases with Figuarts where it might be a very personal, like, weird thing for me. It doesn't quite feel exactly on the same quality level as like Gaim. Around this time last year when I got Gaim Orange Arms, I was like, wow. And there was just something about it. And this figure doesn't quite feel exactly on that level. Like, it could be me, but it's still a very good figure. I thought they did a really good job on it. It's really a gorgeous looking figure. Great paint, great details, nice mold on it. It's just a really good representation of Drive. And even though there's that slight, weird feeling I have that it's not quite on the exact height of the Gaim Figuarts, they still, I think in my opinion, have managed to continue the tradition now for the second year of making the current running series Rider Figuarts actually good. Now anyway, now that I've went ahead and said that, essentially the wrap up, we will go ahead and just switch off the little effect parts, which is kind of neat. So to pull off his tire, you actually just kind of separate it here. This whole piece can come off, and this whole piece can come off. And then you can do tire coke on Drive naked. So that's kind of what he would look like if he didn't have a tire on, which is actually kind of nice. Like if you didn't have that dip there. Anyway, but so let me set this aside just for a second. Now taking max flare out, I'm going to take the flame effects out. I'm just narrating everything I'm doing. Alright, now I'm sniffing in. Now I'm breathing again. Alright, here's the max flare tire, which looks pretty nice. You have like the core here with just this, the core. The rim? I don't know cars. But it's got a nice silver paint on it. And the Max Flare itself has a really nice paint on it as well. It's got a nice shine to it. Looks very good. But you separate that essentially just like the other one, and they're going to go on Drive. But something that's also kind of neat you can do is actually take these pieces off. And then you can actually store, if I can get it right, you can store your Type Speed tire on here. So that's actually really cool. That's a really neat, oh, there we go, that's why, because you probably want to put this one on first. Dawson, our smartest reviewer, yeah, I'm dumb. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. That's really neat that you can do that. You could probably, I'm going to assume you'll be able to do that with most of them. You could probably fix it so it's on there better. But yeah, really neat that you can actually store that on there. Maybe you want to put one of these pieces on there. I don't know if it would make sense. I don't know. But regardless, you can store it on there, which is nice just for display purposes and for storage purposes, and it kind of keeps everything you need together. So yeah, cool, cool. All right, now you put max flare on just like you did. Type speed. You can. It's pretty easy. You just line up the way the pegs are shaped. It's like that old game you play when you're really little, where they have you put shapes through shape holes. But with Figuarts, that was what they were training you for, is Figuarts. Okay, so to switch off the driver, it's pretty unique. I had a take here where it wouldn't work. But yeah, you pull off the driver, there we go. And it leaves this sort of shell here, and you are left behind with the symbol. So I filmed a take where I like pulled the whole thing off, and that's like the first time that ever happened. Of course now, oh there we go. It's like, of course now I can't find it. So then you switch it off here by dropping this tiny little piece. This is the tiny little max flare piece. But by putting that on there and then put it upside down and then switch it back after you realize you've messed up horribly. But yeah, that's a pretty unique way of doing it. It's like, I've never seen it like that before, where you switch it like that. Actually, when you think about it, it's really a neat way to do it, not only just for the way that this looks, but security-wise. So if it was a little faceplate, there'd be a chance it could flip off. So it's actually kind of a neat way to do it. So you can see now it has the unique max flare thingy. It's a technical term, thingy. All right, now, where is the tiny, tiny piece? Okay, so we already took off the type speed one, and now you can put max flares right there, so it's all accurate. The only problem now is you have this extra one, but I guess you could just say he got that exclusive one that came with something. But so you got two. The universe is currently exploding because he has two max flares. And then you just knock over your plastic. All right, so now to put the effect pieces on, it's pretty simple. There's just these little cut pieces that kind of go on top of his wrists or his forearm or wherever the hell. You can essentially probably place it however high up you want and finagle it correctly if you want to. Let's do that so it's hitting him right in the face. Alright, I probably could adjust it a little bit better. And then this one you're actually going to want to, at least so it's not awkward, is place it like above his shift-car thingy. A shift-car thingy is also a technical term. So there you have it, essentially. I probably want to move his thing a little bit so it's not so awkwardly on his fist, but it's still really, really cool effect part there. It's just really awesome. The flame effects look really neat on it. It's just really cool. I don't know what else to say other than it's a really cool effect part there. For type speed. It looks really neat. It really adds this epic quality to the figure and kind of definitely separates it from the TK figures when you have something like that going on. Just really, really cool. Just really neat effect part there. I really like it a lot. I'll probably keep mine posed like that. Let's see if we can do a little spin without him totally messing himself up. So yeah, really neat. If you can get this guy, I'm not sure when or if they'll stop giving these with it. I mean, if you find it from like a secondhand seller, you might not get it. But my point is if you're getting this figure, I definitely recommend making sure it comes with max flare. It just adds this really awesome effect to him. It just looks really, really cool. It makes a pretty damn good looking figure even more good looking. So very, very cool. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with this figure. I kind of already did the wrap-up, so I'll try not to repeat myself too much and just saying that, while not quite on the level of Gaim, maybe, they did keep up the tradition, I think, of making a series a figure art for the current running series that is really well done. I think my only real complaint about the figure itself is that without the extra max flare parts, he doesn't come with much. I don't know what else he would come with. I think maybe just a couple extra hands if for some reason you're not getting the effect part. Maybe, but with the effect part, it's really, really cool. The effect part set is awesome, so if you can get this figure art with the effect part, definitely recommend it. But overall, if you are thinking about getting a drive figure art and want a nice drive figure, I can definitely recommend it. Even with the sort of small amount of accessories, it's just a really, really nice looking figure. Solid mold, great articulation, good details, great representation of the drive that I can definitely recommend. I'm very pleased that they managed to keep up the quality for the most part of the current running series. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure to check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, it's Dawson Writer, signing out.